Marvelous, marvelous. All right. I think we are live.
I don't see it yet, but mine sometimes takes a second.
All right, everybody, we're just going to give Facebook just one moment to catch up. Make sure that we are good to go before I start talking.
Yep, now you're all set, Debbie.
Yay, yay. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I'm so excited to be here today. Today is our migraine strategy call, and we have a very special guest today. We have Deanne here to talk to us today about her migraine journey, her migraine freedom. And I have Erin here to help me today, which is even more amazing. We have, look at all these wonderful ladies that are here today. So I'm so excited to be able to talk to Deanne and give you guys some amazing info and tips that are going to be able to help you. Before we get started, for those of you who do not know me, I'm Debbie Waidl. I am a functional health coach supporting women to migraine freedom, helping you reduce that severity, duration, and frequency of those migraines so that you can actually get to live your life instead of just functioning. How many of you feel like that day to day to day, that you are just functioning through? We don't need to do that. We can actually live our lives, and Deanne is here to talk to us about that. So welcome, Deanne. How are you today?
I'm doing really good.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you again for being here. And why don't we start out with you just giving us a little bit of an overview of your migraine journey?
I've had headaches for most of my life. I remember when I was little, that I would remember going to family get-togethers and reunions and wondering if there'd ever be a time where I wouldn't have a headache. And from there, they kept coming. As I got older, they got worse. There was only like for a year where they weren't that bad. And it was when I was like for 1 year after I'd been healed. And then I was in a car accident and the headaches came back. And so the headaches kept getting worse. So I've had them like off and on for my whole 52 years, basically.
So 5 decades
Yes.
of your life, you've
Yes.
had migraines. That's amazing. When you stop to think about that, if you add up that amount of time, so you've been living with migraines longer than you haven't been living with them.
Yes. Yeah.
So what have you tried over the years? Like I hear this from so many women that I talk to on migraine breakthrough calls or in the group. I've tried everything. So what have you tried to end your migraines?
Okay, so I have my cheat notes with me just so I don't forget something.
Because it's a long enough list, isn't it?
It is. So yeah. So I've done chiropractic when I was little. Like every time I would go out for gym class or go out for recess, I would have to go to the chiropractor because I'd end up with a migraine or a headache. It wasn't diagnosed migraine until I was probably 21. But I'd had a really bad headache and I'd have to leave school and they would take me to the chiropractor. And sometimes I'd get up in the middle of the night and have to go to the chiropractor. So that was the most part up till the time I went to college. And from there, I went to a neurologist. I tried all the different medications. Probably if any of you know me, I'm allergic to a ton of stuff. and that includes medication. So all the medications that I tried, most of them did not work. I had allergic reactions to, including the triptans and the NSAIDs and like the muscle spasm medications and like I said, the variety of the triptans. But then I also took Botox now for the last, I think 7 years, possibly.
Wow.
And at that point, I had 76, or what, out of 76 days, let me clarify, out of 76 days, I had 73 days of migraines. And I told the doctors they either needed to find something to help me fix me or I needed to go on disability because there was nothing else I could do. I had done everything. And the Botox worked for a while. It did not cut down on all my migraines. I'd still have breakthrough. Anything with the weather change, the barometric pressure, or the pollen count would trigger a migraine. And towards the end, before I met you, the Botox wasn't even really working. I'd have 8 weeks before the next Botox shot instead of 2 weeks where I was having migraines for the last 8 weeks instead of the last 2 weeks, if that makes sense. So it wasn't working any longer for me.
Yeah. And that absolutely makes sense because it's something that we hear all the time. You know, you start the triptans and people think it's like Christmas. Oh my gosh, they're working. The migraines are going away. But then very quickly we get into January, like when the bills come in after Christmas and you're like, eh, this isn't so fun. This isn't great. This isn't working for me anymore until all of a sudden they're not working at all. And the same thing is with Botox. We hear the same thing, you know, the first couple times you get it done, it works really great the whole amount of time. And then each visit becomes less and less effective. So that's just our body's way of saying, you're not getting to the root cause. You're trying to cover up this problem. And now I'm not going to let you cover it up too well. So 100% makes sense.
And I also tried massages and physical therapy and all that kind of stuff, and it just made it worse instead of helping. So
yeah, and you know, a lot of these things that we're trying, they're not bad things, but what they're doing is they're alleviating pain, which is what we need, right? We need some pain alleviated because we're in so much pain. But we also, at the same time, while we're doing them, need to figure out how to get to that root cause.
Yep.
So I know you know this, Deanne, but we talk a lot in the group about how we're not anti-medication, but we're anti-medication for life. You know, a doctor gives you a prescription. Exactly. And they say, okay, here's your prescription, but let's work on getting you off of it.
Yes.
So, and that's the part that's missing from conventional medicine, but that's the part that we pick up on the functional side here in the Freedom from Migraine method is it's okay to stay on that medication while we work on getting the root cause. And then we're going to help you get off of something that really isn't serving you well anyway.
Right.
So you're out there, you're taking all this stuff, you're trying all these things, some of them actually making it worse for you, which is very common, physical therapy, massage therapy. Sometimes if you don't have someone who's a migraine specialist, can make you feel worse. You've tried all these things, they haven't worked, Deanne. And then you come across me on Facebook, a stranger, a lady on Facebook that you're like, who the heck is she? What made you decide to talk to me?
I think it was just out of desperateness because I wasn't able to enjoy the life I wanted. And I was missing out on so many things like time with family, time with friends. I was tired of being in bed all the time and just getting up and being able to barely get to work and get through the day and then coming back to bed just to recuperate and try to get over the next migraine before I went on to the next shift. And I decided I needed to get to the root cause because obviously all the other stuff I tried, while, like you said, while it helped at the time, the massages helped relax the muscles a little bit, I still kept getting the migraines and I never knew when they were going to come. So I could never plan anything because every time I did plan for something, it never failed. I had a migraine and couldn't participate anyway.
Yeah.
So that was frustrating. And I just, I felt like I deserved it to myself to try one more thing, the natural way to try to get to the root cause. And I owed it to myself to do that and to my family.
We are so glad that you felt like you owed it to yourself because what a difference from that first day to now. So, you got on the phone call with me, we're chatting. And what was it? What was that determining factor? Was there something specific that made you think that Freedom from Migraine method was going to work for you?
I think it was all like the honesty and you'll walk me through step by step. It is possible. We're going to, like you said, walk you through it step by step. There's a certain way of doing it, which I had never been told. And I think I read some overviews about you and the program and watched some of the stories. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for it. I know it was really hard because financially I'm a single mom and a child that was in college and in the midst of trying to get married. But like I said, I thought I deserved it to myself to try something I hadn't tried yet one more time and put all my effort into that one time. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I remember that discussion and how much you were struggling at that point in time to, you know, take your paycheck and make it go in 15 different directions, which is so common for most of us in this group, right? You know, I think many of us have seen a lot of struggle over the last year and a half. You know, the things that have happened in this world have impacted us in ways, and many of the people watching in ways that, I probably can't even imagine. So for you to take that leap of faith in yourself, was really a testament to how well or how much you knew that your health, you really needed to work on that to be able to live the life that you wanted to live. So we're so glad that you took that leap of faith for yourself. We are so glad.
I am so glad. I am
we
forever
love you in the
grateful and
group.
thankful.
So in
I
the Freedom
can't
from
even
Migraine
tell you.
method, obviously, we do so many things, right? We have so many things going on. Everybody comes in and they think that, they've done it all. This isn't really going to be anything new. It's going to be a little refresher, but what was your biggest aha moment in the group? What was something that really surprised you?
Sugar, because I am a sugar addict and my whole family is a sugar addict, and I love sugar. And it's one of the things that I can eat that I'm not allergic to is sugar. And the rest of the food groups, I was allergic to at one point to all of them and had to take injections. I don't think I ever shared that with you, but I had to take injections before everything I ate, from meat and poultry to fruits and vegetables and grains. The only two things I could eat and not have to have an injection for was rice and green beans. That was it.
Girl, you were making your mast cells very angry in your body.
I was. And sugar, I loved sugar. So I wasn't willing to really think about giving up sugar. And I thought, oh, that can't be making me sick. That can't be triggering my migraines. So I asked my neurologist that does my Botox, and I'm like, what do you know about sugar and migraine? She goes, oh, sugar is terrible for migraines. I went, it is? That means right. Oh my gosh. Maybe I ought to look at that now. So yeah, that was my aha moment. Yeah, maybe that could be part of my problem, because I sure consumed a lot. I think I remember telling you, I drank 4 cups of coffee in the morning. And for people that don't know me, I am a manager at a convenience store, and I have to do donuts at 1 o'clock in the morning, or I have to do books at 3 a.m., or I have to go in and close the store down at 10 o'clock at night. So my hours are all over the place and in between, and cover shifts that don't get covered. So I have to be awake at the time I get there. That's a 15-minute ride from my house to where I work. And in that 15 miles, I would drink 4 cups of coffee just to wake up. And from there, I would drink 3 bottles of pop a day, on top of eating donuts and cookies and yummies that my mom would make me. And sugar's not my problem.
No.
It can't be.
And you did a phenomenal job, because sugar is probably one of the hardest things to change for many people. Not everyone, but for many people, sugar is a difficult thing to get rid of. I can raise my hand to that as well. But the way that we do it in the program and the way that you did it is a slow and steady pace. So it's not shocking. It's not all or nothing instantaneously. And do you feel that that helped you be able to maintain that today?
Yes, because in my coffee, I would have maple syrup. And the first thing I did was to start cutting down the amount of coffee and the amount of maple syrup I put in my coffee, and weaned off that. And I weaned off, like, I went from the 3 cans of pop a day to 2 for several days. And then I went down to 1, and then I spread it out for an entire week. I'd sip on the same pop for an entire week. It's, of course, the screw on lid, but that was the way I had to do it for me. And then I went to no more buying the sweets that are gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free. I would just eat the sweets that my mom made that had less ingredients, and we'd cut down the amount of sugar we put in it to wean off that way. And then I still treat myself every once in a while to a little bit of sugar, because I know if I went cold turkey, I'd be in trouble. So my amount of change, I think, in the sugar alone helped me the most, because I had really fast results. And with my crazy inactive sleep and only getting 1 to 3 to 5 hours max a night, I still have not gotten a migraine. And
which
in the last 48 hours, I only had 6 hours of sleep until last night. Last night I got 5. But I thought for sure, oh, if this is anything that's going to cause me a migraine, it's going to be only 6 hours of sleep in 48 hours. and I was like an emotional roller coaster. And I'm like, Mom, I don't know what's wrong with me. And she goes, Deanne, you've had 6 hours of sleep in 48 hours.
Yeah,
You should
that'll
be
do it.
emotional
That'll
and
do it.
tired. And yeah.
Yeah. And that is not recommended for women watching this right now. Deanne is a
No.
little freak of nature when it comes to sleep. So we highly recommend 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night. And she is working on that. It is a goal.
That is what my goal was,
Yeah.
6 to 9 hours until I got this ridiculous schedule thrown into the curve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I just
So-
want to go back and unpack one thing you just said about sugar, because I really think that everyone needs to hear it. You did the slow and steady, but you
Yeah.
also realize that it's okay every once in a while to treat yourself when you know that you're in that right space, right? Because there's a right and a wrong time to treat yourself with migraines.
Yes.
So something that we learn in the Freedom from Migraine method, when the smarter days are and when the other ones aren't, but also how to be able to shift the foods that you're already eating and make them in a way that are going to serve you better versus
Yes.
causing you more harm, which is another thing that we really work on, because this program is not about deprivation. It's not about coming in and changing your life 150% so that you feel like you can't live like a human being, or you can't, do the things that you want to do ever again because you have migraines. But it's more about finding what works well for you, making you the healthiest you can be, and bringing you to that migraine freedom that you're looking for. So I love that you have done that, because that is not an easy thing to do.
No. And I kind of gritted my teeth at the beginning and thought, this is impossible. And with your guys' support, I was able to do that. So
That's amazing.
goes to
That's
the free
amazing.
migraine method.
Well, before we get to the next question, we actually have a question in the group. Leanne is asking if sugar includes natural sugar like in fruit. So we do dive into this in the Freedom from Migraine method. Fruit is something you do have to be careful about. It's a healthy food. It's a very healthy food, and we love eating healthy foods. But fruit can definitely go into our system in a different way. So we take each person a little differently, talk to them about what's right and wrong for them, and figure out when the right and wrong time is to eat fruit and the right and wrong amounts. Because what we don't want to see happen is somebody stop sugar and then trade sugar for fruit, and then really increase that fruit. Because that happens quite often, right? Because we have that sweet tooth and we want something sweet. So after the meals, it's like, okay, let's go grab, those strawberries, the banana, or whatever the case may be. And so why it's a healthy food, we just have to be very careful on that. All right,
And for
Leanne, let us know
me,
if you have
I'm
any
allergic.
further question.
I was gonna say, and for me, I'm allergic to fructose and to corn syrup and natural fruits and vegetables, the fructose in it. So for me, it wasn't so hard with the fruit, because I was already limited to 1/4 of a cup of a certain fruit a day. So I could have like a half of a banana, or I could have like 2 strawberries, or I could have 3 chunks of pineapple a day, and that was it. And the same for my vegetables. So that's why I'm saying I had like very little flavor in my food, and sugar was the one thing that gave me flavor, because I could only season with salt and pepper and lemons.
Right.
And
But
sugar.
now that we've done that work on your migraines, which is
Yes.
also done work on your gut, now how do you eat?
Oh, I can eat fruits and vegetables, but I mostly eat vegetables, and I've included like a variety that I've not had in over 5 years, and I have not gotten sick. And for the other people that are wondering too, when you cut down on your fiber intake, it affects your digestive tract also. And so me only getting 1/4 of a cup of a vegetable a day at the beginning is why my gut was not working right. Part of the reason. And with the Freedom from Migraine method and the steps that we took and the increased water and that kind of stuff, one of my proud moments was I called or got a hold of Debbie, and I'm like, I'm going to the bathroom on my own. That hasn't happened in 7 years. 7 years.
Exactly.
I've had to drink milk and magnesia every meal, every day. And this is, for me, it was a big win, because my gut started turning around through this program and getting healthier with all aspects. And I remember when I started, Debbie, you told me we might as well not just call this Freedom from Migraine method, because you have so many things wrong with you. And if you come through this program, you'll probably get better with all of them, because your gut's going to get better too. And I'm like, oh, then yes, that was what I want to do.
Absolutely, because they're tied together. So for the women watching this, whether you're watching live or on the replay, if you aren't going to the bathroom at least once a day, then guess what? You're constipated. And that is part of the reason that you have issue with migraines. But the amazing thing is when we work on one, we're working on the other. So you don't need two separate programs. You don't need the Miralax or whatever else it is you're taking, the Mucilix, whatever it is. We can work on both together, and you can get back to eating foods like Deanne again, who hadn't eaten those foods for years and years and years. And they're all healthy foods that we don't want eliminated from our diet because we need those for our overall health, right? Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit, everyone's going to want to know. We talked about the 73 out of 76 days of having migraines. How are your migraines now, 4 months later?
I have not had a triptan in weeks. I think probably maybe even 2 months without a triptan. I've used the salt water and with a little bit of avocado oil in it when I've needed to. And once in a while, I'll use like the Benadryl Reglan combination, which is just for nausea. And usually the salt water by itself will take my migraine away. And sometimes I'll have to use the Reglan Benadryl, but I don't beat myself up because with my crazy hours and my lack of sleep, I'm bound to have a little bit, but I have not had anything over a 1 or a 2 max. And usually I've been in the ER. It never failed. Even with the Botox, I would be in the ER 4 or 5 times a year easily.
I love it. And I love how you say you're not beating yourself up, because you went from so many migraines that you had to take meds for, that you had to take Botox for, that you were not seeing the results that you wanted, to now, if every once in a while you need to take that Benadryl to get through the day, you do it. But at the same time, we're also still working on things to be able to get you to the point where you won't even need to do that. So it's a tiered approach. You don't go from, taking meds almost every single day to 0 in, 2.4 seconds.
Right.
It would be nice if we could, right? It'd be nice if you sign up for the Freedom from Migraine method and I can go, here's your migraine free card. Have a nice day. But it doesn't work that way. But the nice thing is it doesn't have to be years either. It doesn't have to be 2 years later that you see results. So for anybody watching that is on triptans or on medications, know that there's a right and a wrong way to get off of them. Know that everyone's a little different. Just because Deanne takes Benadryl doesn't mean that you should. Everyone's different. And that's why working with someone is so key, to know what the right and wrong way is for you to start slowly working off of that medication. But we are so proud of how Deanne's doing it and how that just works phenomenal for you. So that is absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So tell me right now, if you hadn't found me 4 months ago, where do you think you'd be today?
I'd be in the same old boat I was at the beginning, which was never knowing when the headache's going to come, knowing that it was going to last longer than a day, usually 5 to 7 days, knowing I couldn't go out with friends, I couldn't plan anything. I was basically stuck in a rut and had no life. And I wanted to work and I wanted to have my days off and go see my son. And I couldn't even do that because I'd be sick in bed, because I spent the energy going to work and working through the migraine instead of sleeping with the migraine.
Yeah.
And so it lasted a whole lot longer.
Yeah. And it's so much more exhausting, right? Because you take all of that energy out of you to try to be able to keep up with that migraine by living normal life. And yeah, how many women watching this right now or watching this later on the replay do this continuously? Because we're the mom, we're the spouse, we're the aunt, we're the friend that we feel, we need to be there for everyone. And we forget to put ourselves first. So when those migraines come on, we keep going, we keep pushing. And it unfortunately will make the severity, duration, and frequency worse and make it harder on your body overall and give you that exhausted feeling. I spent 10 years, and I'm sure, Deanne, you spent many years feeling like I just never had enough sleep, ever.
Right. Always exhausted, always run down.
Yeah, you could be in 10, and I know you're never in bed for 10 hours, but I could be in bed for 10 hours and wake up feeling like I was in bed for 2. So, and I just preface that because I know you're lucky if you're in bed for 5 hours, but we're working on that again. It's something we're working on.
And just so everyone knows, it's just because of my work. I get called at all hours of the day or night. I went to go to bed to get my 7 hours of sleep, and I got called because they were out of something, and I had to find a store that had it. And then I had to go drive out of town because I'm in a little small town in Iowa, and had to drive a long distance away to get the product and then come back and then try to go back to bed for an hour and then get up and go make the donuts. It was one of those nights.
Yeah. But it's also important for people to realize, because there's so many women that I talk to that say they're too busy to do this. They don't have enough time to do this program, that it would be way too difficult because they have kids, they work, they have a spouse. Well, if you can do it and work, what did you work that 1 week? 116 hours? Is that what you told me?
127.
Okay, so I was a little off. I was being a little conservative there. So 127 hours, if you can manage to do that, which again, we don't recommend, it's not the norm. But if you can do that and do this program and find the results that you're looking for, then anybody can do this program.
And that's what I liked about the program, because on weeks where I was really busy and didn't have time to always get through the guides and the modules because I got called in and wasn't expected to go into work, and I had planned that time to do my lessons, you were like, it's okay. You do it when you get there. We'll work with you. And sometimes it might take you longer. And just your understanding and your caring and your support is what made it possible for me to hang with the program and just keep going at my pace and get as far as I could go each time. So,
well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. And that is something that we really work hard on in this program. Is we're not here to make your life more stressful.
Right.
Because stress causes migraines. Stress increases inflammation. It actually does so more than food, ladies. For those of you out there that think food is the end all answer, it's part, but it's not the full answer. So when we're stressed out, we are causing way more inflammation in our body than some inflammatory foods. So we want this to be something that you feel good about doing and that you can do at your pace and that works within your life, because we're all different, right? I mean, we have 37 women in the group right now, and we are all unique, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, all right. So what's next? What is next for you? What's going to happen fun in your world? What are we doing next?
Well, I'm now in the Destination Zero group, and I would like to try to get my gut even healthier and try to get off some more of my medications. And I am on the books of getting away from my Botox now, and they're making it further and farther between. And my doctor wants me to not come back and see her. She's like, if you can do this, I will be cheering for you, and I will share with everyone about Freedom from Migraine method, because I gave her your name and information and she backs it 100%. So I'm like, okay, but I'm the one that's a little nervous because I'm like, that has been my security blanket for the last, like I said, 7 years.
Yeah.
And I'm going off the Botox as my son's having his renewing of vows. 2 days before his renewing of vows is when my Botox stops.
That's okay. You can do it. We got your back.
I can do it. This has built the buffer and the threshold so that I can do these things that I used to not be able to do at all. So
that's amazing. That's amazing.
While I'm a little nervous, I'm so excited.
And you know what? That's normal. If you weren't nervous, then I would be a little nervous that you weren't nervous. It's very normal to, it's very normal to think, okay, I've had this thing, even though it's not working great, but it's something I've always done. And what's my life going to be like when I take that away? But you've done it in the right way. You've built the foundation. You didn't rush yourself. You took it at your own pace. Because I'm sure somebody's going to be asking me, well, what's Destination Zero and why is she doing this? Destination Zero is our upper level program for people that need a little bit more time because they have very specific health pieces that they need to work on. So for example, Deanne came in with a lot of gut issues and migraines. So we weren't just working on one thing, we were working on two. Even though we work on it at the same time, it's going to take a little longer. So she chose not to go cold turkey on the medication until we actually were able to find some results with the gut. Now that the gut's healed, as she said, she wants to move on and slowly work off of medication, do it step by step so that it's not super stressful for the body not super stressful for you. It can be done in a way that isn't as painful, nice and gradual. So we have the Destination Zero option for those people that would like a little bit more support to be able to do those kind of things, which I think is a perfect plan for you, Deanne, because this really has worked so well, and the structure that you've done it and the choice that you've made. Because at the end of the day, it's everyone's choice who comes in as to how they're going to work with their medications, when they want to get off of them.
Yes.
And I think from the smile on your face, you're happy with the choice that you've made and the plan that you've given yourself.
And I choose to do lots more fun things that I haven't been able to do in a long time. So I'm going to go to more ball games. I just went to my great niece's outdoor, t-ball game, and it was windy and it was hot and we were all sweaty, and I'm allergic to dust and I'm allergic to pollen, and I was in the middle of all of it and I didn't get a migraine either. So I was like celebrating one thing after another, and I would not have been able to do it had I not been in the program and taken the steps that you guys said to take in the order that you said to take it. That was like something I thought would never happen. And I had a great time. So
well, we are
thank
so
you.
glad that you're getting back to be able to do things that you love to do, because that obviously is the end result. That's why we're here. That's why we're working so hard, is for you to be able to live your life your way and not have migraines be in control. Because I think, every single woman that's watching this today, your migraines are still controlling your life, whether it's one day a week, every day of the week, they're still in control. And Deanne, you've taken that control back, even though we still have some things you're working on. You have the steps, you have the tools, and now we're just going to give you that little extra support you need to be able to get off those meds, so that finally your body's going to do its job for you with you not even having to think about it. It'll be second nature to you.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. So tell me, if we have this person who's watching, who's sitting on the fence, who just is like, I don't know. I don't really know if I want to join Freedom from Migraine Method. It works for Deanne. It's not going to work for me. I'm different. I know it's not going to work. What are you going to tell that person?
I was on the fence at first too. I wasn't sure if it was going to be worth the money and the investment. But like I said, I owed it to myself to get better for me and for the people that I love and the people around me and my friends, so that I could live the best life that I could live. And so I would say to you, it's worth the risk to try another thing and follow the steps of the program. Do your best, give your body a break, give your mind a break, do what you need to do to help get the goal that you want, which the end goal is to be migraine free, so that you can live the life that you want and do those fun things you want that you've been missing out on because of your migraines for all these years. So absolutely, I wouldn't change this for anything. This has been a night and day difference for me. My mom has seen it. My child has seen it. He was happy I made it to his graduation. He was happy that I'm helping plan his renewing of the vows and all those things, because I couldn't do it before. I would be in bed and he knew it. He'd even be the one to bring me the ice pack. This program works the way it's set up. The order that it's set up is for a reason, to help build that foundation and to bring the threshold to a level that helps your body fight what's going on, and so you can heal inside out and overcome the challenges that you're struggling with. So I guess what I'm trying to say is this program worked for me. And yes, everybody's different, but I think everybody owes it to themselves to think about their own health and what is it worth to you to get better and to get where you need to be. Like I said, I tried everything and I was allergic to a lot of stuff that was being thrown at me. So it just made me worse in the end. This one, I didn't have anything thrown at me that I was allergic to. First of all, it was all like the natural kind of stuff, and the support base is there. You get questions answered right away if you have them. This group is there to help each other through the hard times. It's okay to share when you're having a bad day. It's okay to share what you're struggling with. That's what the team members from Freedom from Migraine Method are there for. And then they're there to support you and encourage you and pray for you. And that's what I like the most. So if you're looking at this program, still wondering if that's right for you, just take a deep breath and think through things that you might want to change, and then look at the program again and see what it offers. And I bet it'll line up to what you're looking for.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
You really have been a true joy to have in the program. And selfishly, I'm glad you're not leaving yet, because I would miss you.
I was
That
going
is
to miss
the-
you guys. I was having a hard time thinking of saying goodbye. I'm like, no, I don't want to.
That is the downside of this program, as Erin and I have talked about many a time, is that you guys become our family. You know, we're with you for 4 months through thick and thin. You know, we see you at your worst, we see you at your best, and we celebrate all the amazing wins at the end. But when you win, that means we have to let you go.
Yes.
So we're fortunate that you want to do a little bit more work with us and get to stay a little longer. But then we will definitely stay friends on Facebook, so we can keep connected and know how all of your amazing life is going in your job that you don't have to work maybe 100 hours at. Maybe we'll work on that for the future, getting a little bit more sleep. But we cannot wait to see the photos of you and your son and your daughter-in-law in the renewing of the vows. That'll be amazing. So we're so happy for you, and we're so proud of all the work that you've done. Absolutely. Now, before we let you go, Erin, are there any other questions or anything else that we need to address, or would you like to speak for a moment?
Well, I'm trying not to tear up because Deanne, when
I was trying not to tear up too.
well, I'm so proud for you, of you, so happy for you. I have to admit, when Debbie first shared with me some of your health realities, when you first started the program, I thought, oh my goodness, and your work schedule, you know, but your dedication to yourself has inspired me. And I think you're proof that no matter what you're facing, no matter what your schedule looks like, if you choose to make your health your priority, with the help of this program, the support of this group, it is possible. And I mean, everyone deserves that, right? I truly believe that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be working for this awesome lady for and with. I wouldn't have done the program myself. I'm a graduate as well. So I'm just so happy for you. And I think what you said too, you know, for me, there's a difference. Sometimes like you said, you have to treat the symptom to function, right? And I'm grateful Debbie understands. She's not like, no, you know, because, you know, we're all learning. However,
Right.
do you want to heal the source, or do you want to treat the symptoms? And as you and I both know, you can only treat the symptoms before the treatment doesn't work. So how do we heal the source so we can enjoy and have full lives? And I just want to give a shout out, because speaking of the group, and if I forget anyone, forgive me, because I'm reading this quickly, but Jessica and Debbie and Andrea and Carly and a couple other people are here, and they're all cheering you on in the comments below the live feed. So
Good.
they're all thrilled for you and thrilled to be here with you, and they support you as well. So congratulations. It's great to hear your story. I could hear it all the time. I'm so happy for you.
Well, and I didn't touch on all the things that are wrong with me, but I've had fibromyalgia, endometriosis, Epstein-Barr, chronic fatigue, the migraines, obviously, all my allergies, asthma. I had skin cancer that was removed. I get tumors all the time that are benign, but they're tumors that have to be removed. I've had 27 removed, and I've got 3 more to go. So yeah, it's been a rough road health-wise, but the Lord is still blessing me, and he led me to you guys. So that's another big blessing. So you guys have been a blessing to me.
Well, thank you. We're so glad that we have crossed paths. And as I said, we are very fortunate and appreciate every single woman that crosses our path. You just enrich our lives each and every day. So before I let you go, you know, before we all start crying, because I do have a coaching call that I actually have to do after this.
Okay.
Any last words of wisdom that you want to share with any of the women out there in the group right now?
Yes, I wrote it down.
I know you did. That's why I asked.
Yeah, let me look quick. Sorry, I'd shut my book and then I lost my page because the dogs were sitting on it.
That's quite all right. While you're looking, I'll just give a shout out, as Erin did, and thank you to all of the Freedom from Migraine Method ladies that joined. It just shows how much of a tight-knit group that we are, because these women that are on here watching to support Deanne and to hear her story, There are women that have been with her in the group for the last, 3-4 months. And they have a coaching call coming up next. So they're taking their time out because they want to be here and support her and they want to hear her story and they're so excited for her. So thank you for always being there for each and every one of you to support each other, because that is part of the success of this group, are all the amazing women that are there. Erin and I are there, the team is there, the program is great, but at the end of the day, being in a group of 30 to 40 women that are going through the same thing, that understand where you're coming from, that can share their experiences with you. It's like having 30 to 40 amazing sisters.
Yeah.
And how can you go wrong when you have that, right? And you don't have to share a bedroom or a house with them or anything. You just share a little Zoom room with them every once in a while in the Facebook group, right?
Yeah.
So how can you go wrong? But anyway, I just wanted to say a quick shout out. We'll let Deanne finish us up and then we'll let everybody go for the day.
Okay, so on my notes, I wrote for my last words of wisdom, you owe it to yourself to get better. It is worth it because you are worth it. Now I'm going to cry.
Well, thank you.
And then I said, I am forever grateful to you and Erin and the rest of the Freedom from Migraine Method followers, because like you said, they are like sisters. It's like family. The support is amazing. And like I said, in the good times and in the bad times, they are there rooting for you and praying for you. And you can't find that, or I have not found that anywhere else besides your group. And so that says something about your Freedom from Migraine Method approach as well, that you are there because you want to be, and you think we're worth it as well, because you're doing your job to help
all
us.
1,400 women in this group right now watching are 100% worth it. And all the women that I haven't found yet that aren't in this group are worth it. 1 in 4 women are suffering with migraines. And it's my goal and my company's goal and Erin's goal to slash that number, because there is absolutely no reason in this world to have 1 in 4 women have migraines. Absolutely none. So that is my passion. That's why I'm here. I lived 10 long years with daily migraines, daily. They weren't level 7 every day, but it was a migraine every day. And I lost way too much in my life. And that's not going to happen on my watch with anybody else. So let us know if you have any questions, ladies. We'll actually throw the link in here a little bit later. We'll throw the link in here for my migraine breakthrough call for anybody who wants to get on a call and chat about how Deanne's story could actually be their story. And Deanne, is it okay if anybody has any questions, if they get a hold of me and let me know if I reach out to you, if they have any more questions about your story?
You bet you can.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, Erin, for helping facilitate the Facebook group. Thank you, Deanne, for being here, for being amazing. And we are so proud of you. And to everybody, here's to your migraine-free day. We'll see everybody in the group.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, I think we're good. Thank you so much for doing that. That was amazing.
Thank you.
That was very sweet of you to share so much and to give so much time. I'm sorry it went over a little over, but you just were so amazing. I didn't want to stop the call. You are going to really touch so many people, which is why we do this. It makes such a difference to women I get on phone calls with, to be able to share these stories and for them to be able to see that it's not just me making things up.
Right. Because they're thinking that at the beginning. Yeah. They're like, can we believe this? Can we trust this? Is what she's saying true?
Yeah. I would feel the same way. I would feel the same way. I wouldn't believe somebody. I mean, I'm in, a coaching program, and I needed to see other people's results before I decided to drop that money in that program. And so it makes a huge difference, but I really appreciate it. And within the next couple of weeks, I'll write something up with the notes that you gave me and get it back to you for approval. I'll probably use that towards the end of July in a couple posts to let people read your story. Because some people watch videos, some people read the posts. So we'll get that done. But been a little busy creating the Destination Zero Facebook group and getting that off the ground.
Yeah.
I figured there was enough of us. We needed our own group. So
yeah. It's funny because I'll be getting ready to go to bed, or I'll be sleeping and I hear this ping that the